everybody, it's BigJackFilms here, and welcome back to another FanMail Fanatics. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these, but I have some debts to pay. So yeah, I've decided to do another one of these because, one, it's been a while since I've done one of these as a vlog, but second of all, I do need a little bit of a break from the live streams because they are really tiresome and they're right in the middle of the week, but I wanted to still give you guys something and still open up the fan mail that you lovely fans have always sent me. But this episode's gonna be a tad bit different because there's not much fan mail this week, although we do have a few Amazon packages that we have to open, as well as some much-due sponsorships. That's right, folks, BigJackFilms has sponsors now. Alright, well, starting off, we have this lovely package here from Amazon. I ordered this with some birthday money I got. I got a few Amazon gift cards, thank you to my family. And we're gonna see what the hell I ordered this time, so let's check it out. This packaging is just, oh my god. Anyway, so what do we got here? We got, yes! Okay, so this is a item I did order, and it's a book I've been wanting to read. It's called Universal Orlando, The Unofficial Story. Now, for those who don't know, I'm a huge fan of Universal Studios Florida, mostly Florida. I've been to the Hollywood park, but I do like the Florida park a hell of a lot better. I grew up with it. It's what inspired me to start making movies, going on classics, Confrontation, Jaws, E.T., Earthquake, Back to the Future. But I've seen this book on Amazon for a while, and I figured I'd finally take a look at it, so I will be giving this a read. This book was made by Nick Sim, who I guess worked at the park, or was an affiliate, because I know a lot of people who actually work at Universal, but this is a book I've been wanting to read for a while, and it's got things on, like, a couple questions like, how was Kong's banana breath generated? How are the flames in Revenge of the Mummy the ride, meaning if they're hot enough? How does the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man falling effect work? What are the rocks underneath Hogwarts Castle made of? Does filming really take place on the streets at Universal Studios Florida?
All the answers are revealed.
The whole thing is that this book is supposed to go basically the whole history of the park from the 80s and its construction till, I guess, when the Wizarding World of Harry Potter came out, but this is a book I've been wanting to take a look at for a while. Now, this isn't the only Universal Studios book I have. In fact, I own two other books regarding the park. The first is Universal Studios, A World Within a World by Patricia Freeman. This came out in the 80s, and I found out this book is actually now relatively rare. It came out when the Hollywood park was just starting to reopen up. This is around the early 80s, but it's got some really nice photographs of the park, and on the back, you can see the original Jaws attraction and stuff from Battlestar Galactica, which is pretty cool. But then this book I got, I think about a year ago, and it's called Adventures in Amity, Tales from the Jaws Ride. It is a catalog of different people who worked on the Universal attractions, most notably the Jaws attraction, and they all basically told their stories from when they worked on the ride, and this goes through the whole really amazing history behind the Jaws ride in Florida, from obviously the Hollywood attraction, the Florida attraction, which had an original ride that was totally different, and then they changed it in '93 because of technical problems, and there's also the Japan ride, so it's all here in this book, and I would highly recommend it. This is by Dustin McNeil. Definitely check this out on Amazon if you have it. Great book on the basic behind-the-scenes making of regarding the Jaws attraction. But this book I've been wanting to get for a while, so a big thank you to Nick Sim on Amazon. If you guys want to go get this book, I'll put a link down below to Amazon.com. Now, these next few items are way overdue. These books I got as promotional material from the authors, as well as buying a copy for myself from another author, but these are books that the authors have told me to look at personally, and I'm finally going to be taking a look at them, but I will be telling some stories regarding these books. The first easy one right here is something I ordered personally. This is not a sponsored item. I did not get this for free. I paid for it with my own money, but it's something worth paying for, and that is John Guillermin, The Man, the Myth, the Movies by Merien Guillermin. Now, for those who don't know, John Guillermin is the man who directed the 1976 remake of King Kong, which is coming out on Blu-ray by Shout Factory. But this book was written by Mary and tells the entire story behind John's legacy as a filmmaker and as a person. Having done an interview with Merien Guillermin personally on my channel, she told me some amazing stories behind John's work, and she highly recommended I take a look at this book, so bought it myself. You're welcome, Mary. There's a little something to help you out. But I would highly recommend this book. I'm going to be reading it, and as far as I know, I flipped through some of the Kong stuff, and there's some really fascinating stories in this book that most people don't really know about John. So for everybody who's interested in knowing about the director of The Towering Inferno, Death in the Nile, and King Kong, I would highly recommend this book. Definitely check it out. Link down below on Amazon.com. Now, these last two books are sponsors that I am way overdue about talking about. And these two books were a very special gift from Will Murray and Joe DeVito. That, of course, being Doc Savage on Skull Island and King Kong vs. Tarzan. Yep, they finally did it. As if Godzilla vs. Kong wasn't enough. So I'll give you guys the skinny of how I obtained these sponsored books. When I did my King Kong books episode, I actually got a nice email from Joe DeVito himself, who wrote the book Kong, King of Skull Island in 2005, which is actually the official sequel to King Kong and not Son of Kong, even though I actually find Son of Kong to be a good movie. And he's been a huge part of the King Kong community and fan base for a long time. So because King of Skull Island was such a huge success, he actually wrote a few other books regarding the eighth wonder of the world. So when he wrote me the email, he said, we're gonna send you a few preview books that you can take a look at and discuss. Now, I haven't read these yet because I've just had a really busy schedule, but then on top of that, oh, the shipping story behind this. So these were shipped from a totally different company that, God, I can't even remember the name of them, but they ended up really messing up the addresses, and it took forever for these books to get sent to me. Now, that's not the fault of Joe DeVito or Will Murray, but the problem was the shipping guys, and this was during, like, the big COVID wave, so a lot of shipments and everything were really delayed and extremely late. But I finally got these in December. I am so sorry, I am way far behind in sponsoring these books, but guys, I would highly say go buy these books. They are amazing pieces to add to your Kong collection. Of course, like, the one that caught my attention was The Wild Adventures of King Kong vs. Tarzan, because back in the early days, Cooper and the studios wanted to do a Tarzan meets King Kong crossover, but that never got off the ground. And funny enough, it wasn't until this book and the Netflix god-awful TV series Kong King of the Apes and the Tarzan animated series they did for Netflix, they actually did crossover, and I will not be discussing those because Kong King of the Apes was enough. But this looks more appealing to me, so I will definitely be taking a read out of this. I don't know how King Kong essentially ends up in Africa, because I know there was also plans to make a Tarzan meets Mighty Joe Young crossover at some point, but that never got off the ground. But honestly, this actually looks pretty kick-ass. I mean, look at this cover art. Look at that. You got Kong and Tarzan facing off against Kong with a couple elephants, so is Tarzan gonna use the elephants to fight King Kong? That sounds pretty cool. On the back of the book it says, Beast God vs. Ape Man. The year was 1933. Filmmaker Carl Denham had captured the stupendous monster he had dubbed King Kong. But that was only the beginning. Denham was determined to get the dethroned ruler of Skull Mountain Island back to America and cash in on the greatest wild animal capture in human history. The saga of how Kong was taken in chains from his Indian Ocean kingdom to New York City has never been told. In order for the cargo freighter Wanderer, so this is obviously based on the novel by Dallas W. Lovelace, to make a long transit toward the Atlantic, she is forced to circumvene in Africa, jungle home of the legendary Tarzan of the Apes. Here is the long-anticipated clash between the monarch of Skull Island and the lord of the jungle. When the largest anthropod who ever lived encounters the savage Superman raised by great apes, will they make peace or war? Well, to quote the great king under the mountain of Thorin Oakenshield in The Hobbit,
I will have war.
So I see what they're going for with this book. It's essentially the New Adventures of King Kong plot that Merien C. Cooper wanted to do as a midquill, but it never got off the ground as far as a concept. But it seems Joe DeVito and Will Murray decided, let's actually just make this a story. So this is actually canon to the 1933 film, or in this case, the public domain novel by Dallas W. Lovelace, which has caused huge controversy in Kong history. So it's actually kind of cool that they crossed over in this universe, and it actually makes me realize, yeah, in this universe, Tarzan does exist. So what you can essentially do is read the original novel, stop halfway after they capture Kong, and then go right into this, which is pretty kick-ass. So it's like an extended chapter in the novel. Now, Doc Savage Skull Island, I have no clue who Doc Savage is. I don't know if he's a popular franchise character or not, but let's see what the back says. Back after 20 years, Doc Savage and his mighty crew returned in a brand new series of nightmare exploits that can only be called The Wild Adventures of Doc Savage. Sounds like somebody who's a huge Twitter troll. Before the world knew him, they met. Before they were legends, they clashed. An urgent summons from his father brings young Clark Savage Jr. to San Francisco for a mysterious mission to locate the lost Clipper ship captained by his legendary ancestor Stormlong Savage. Their quest will take them to the heart of the Indian Ocean and a fog-shrouded isle unknown to civilization, a place inhabited by dinosaurs, unsuspected by history, and ruled by a titanic creature known only as Kong. Doc Savage meets his first great challenge in the fierce prehistoric jungles of Skull Island. But again, it seems like Will Murray is just really interested in doing these crossovers with these old-school Pulp Fiction adventure stories, but take place all in the universe of Kong, which I think is pretty cool. Now, if you have any other ideas, Will Murray, let me know. I mean, you know what I would love to see is King Kong vs. Frankenstein, the original Willis O'Brien production that John Beck had ripped him off and made King Kong vs. Godzilla. That alone would be really cool, and from what I'd gather, it was basically the son of Carl Denham and the great-grandson of Dr. Frankenstein kind of clash together and meet up, and they make King Kong fight another Frankenstein monster. If you make that book, I will definitely take a look at that. I think that would be a fantastic read. Hell, I don't know, do King Kong vs. Orca, King Kong vs. Jaws, I'm sure you could pull it off. But these books I'll definitely take a read through, and who knows, maybe someday down the line I'll do an update video on my King Kong books episode in sort of a part 2 review. But these 4 books I would highly recommend picking up, all on Amazon.com. So a big thank you to Mary Guillermin, Joe DeVito, Will Murray, and Nick Sim for these amazing books. Guys, go check them out. Links in the description if you want to buy these books. Of course, if you guys want to send us some fan mail, gifts, donations, and even check out some stuff on our Amazon wish list, you can so at this address, BigJackFilms, P.O. Box 326, Queensville, Ontario, L0G1R0. We'd love to hear fan mail from you guys, and if we're not feeling like doing a live stream, we might do more of these fan mail fanatics down the line. Again, a big thank you to all of our sponsors on Patreon. If you guys want to go donate to the channel, just $1 more, we'll get you early access to all of our content, as well as other special features. So until the next video, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms signing off saying, during a pandemic, while we're waiting on the last wave of the storm, pick yourself up a good book. It's a little bit better than the internet. Thanks for watching.